Last and by no means least, you might have seen him. He was recently on the TV. I'm surprised he hasn't got a piano with him right now. But there was a channel for a TV program called The Piano, and Daniel got to the final. It was an incredible emotional program. But I've got a huge amount of time for Daniel. I've had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with him, and his personal story. But Daniel's going to talk to you a bit about kind of Damaged Goods Co. and 100 Talks for Change. So, mate, the virtual floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. No, a pleasure to be here. And just before I go into an introduction, for those of you who don't know me, I just wanted to just talk a little bit about the idea of hope. And that's something that I speak a lot about in my talks. And it's so nice. I wasn't actually going to talk about this today, but I think in the West, obviously, we can often see hope as a wish, as kind of like a daydream, as something we just expect to happen. We have this idea of hope and waiting for the world to align in a way that's going to work for us. And I talk about how hope is often not about having a daydream or a pipe dream or longing for something. It's actually about the action that you take to create the change that you want to see in the world. And it's so nice to jump on the call and to see the action and the change that everyone's doing, from Sacha, from Gunraj, and all the people in the background as well, Amy, and her incredible work, to be on calls like this and just to see that people are just turning the wheel and creating so much change. It gives me so much energy and joy. So I'm pleased to be here today. As an introduction for you guys who don't know me, so I'm not a millionaire, haven't been a top athlete, don't have the formula to secret to human behavior that's going to allow people to quadruple their earnings or anything like that. Don't worry. I'd love to have a skill like that, but I don't, unfortunately. I'm just a normal lad from the north of the UK, but I went through a lot of difficulty early on, from kind of losing family to losing friends, from an alcoholic father to losing 3 grandparents at the age of 5, and parents divorced. But my life ended up getting turned around at the age of 9 when I unfortunately lost my father to suicide. Now, obviously that was an event which flipped my world upside down and really impacted my journey through both education and corporate. And I had this belief system that formed at 9 years old. And it was the idea that kind of my emotions were too heavy for people to handle, that I needed to make it up to my family, that I had to rely on myself and all these things. And it made it so difficult, regardless of the societal pressures that I'd face as a young male, to talk about mental health. And so I ran towards kind of the idea of money and safety, because if I had all the money in the world, that would fix everything for my family. And this worked amazingly well in secondary school. And I was this kid who was massively ambitious, huge dreams, huge goals. And by year 11, I was like head boy, straight A student, 6 A stars, 5 A's, 2 B's. And from the outside, you'd have thought this kid has kind of overcome all of the difficulty. But I hadn't actually spoken about the suicide or how I was feeling for all that time. And I ended up then falling from this head boy model pupil to taking Class A drugs in college. My attendance dropped to 23%. And I started to suffer with depression and anxiety at 17 and suicidal ideation, which was tough. The next kind of 3-4 years would see me battle through dropping out of university. I had a failed business after university. I was struggling to maintain my role in the corporate world. And I ended up basically going through a year's worth of therapy and medication whilst I was working in the world of executive search, which, if you know about recruitment, it's a high pressure job. And to have that process as well was to balance that was a challenge in itself. But I ended up going through that year's worth of therapy, and being a lad who, again, always thought that he would never take a pill for the way that I thought, or he'd never speak to someone about his emotions, and the idea of sitting across from, especially a fella, and doing that just seemed alien. To be that lad who then went through a year's worth of therapy and medication and came out the other side in this new space where I was able to speak, I was like, there's no chance that I can just learn the power of conversation and learn about how important it is to speak and to rely on other people. Like, there was no way I could go through that whole journey and then not give back. So a year after my final therapy appointment, I started my journey as the UK's youngest full-time mental health public speaker, with a vision to give people the skills, tools, knowledge, and courage that I wish I had when I was younger. That journey started 24 months ago. I've now been able to speak to over 15,000 people, work with organisations like the Ministry of Justice, Meta with big Mark Zuckerberg, so Facebook, as a long list of kind of SMEs, recruitment organisations. I've been able to consult with Parliament on mental health policy into education, which has been incredible, and was able to share my song Learn to Live to over 5 million people on Channel 4's show, The Piano. So if you saw it, tell me if my voice was good in the comments. It was all right. I think it went okay. But it's been a pleasure just to be in this space now where I'm able to give back. And that's the key message, which is at the heart of my work into both corporations and schools and colleges across the UK, is me being able to use the power of my story and my vulnerabilities to inspire people to take the action that I wish I would have taken a lot sooner. But I also offer kind of training, so staff training, safeguarding training into schools and management training to give people those skills on a top level to be able to navigate mental health within institutions, but then to also know how to deal with that within your team if you're a manager. And I do some consultancy where I look at policy, process, and procedure within organizations to make sure that, again, we're doing the things that we know we need to do. But what I wanted to talk about more importantly today, and again, that's my core work within my damaged goods business, which again just is little me trying to push the mill on that one. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my second business and my second project, 100 Talks for Change. Last year, I was thinking about doing a charity project, and my idea was initially to cycle from Canada to New Mexico, which would have taken me 38 days on a bike. And I couldn't find a seat soft enough that would warrant me doing the challenge. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, all the challenges that I see when people are raising money, they tend to be people doing marathons and swimming, which of course is amazing. Any fundraising, it's brilliant. But I was like, imagine if the challenge that I was doing itself could be rooted in the change that I wanted to see within education, that being better mental health support. And well, I'm a mental health public speaker, so I thought how great it would be to do some sort of talkathon for me to use the skills as a public speaker to see how many talks I could do. And we came up, myself and my business partner, Oliver Newton, with the idea for 100 Talks for Change. And the reason for that is because if we can impact 10,000 lives, so we're doing 100 talks basically in 20 days across 50 schools to impact 10,000 lives and hopefully raise £10,000 for mental health charities which serve the education industry. The whole thing for us is we've seen the power of conversation in our own lives, learning to be able to speak, learning to be able to converse properly, to have the conversation not only with a therapist but with myself and ongoing. But we've also seen the impacts that conversation has had for the pupils that we've worked with, the institutions that we've spoken in, the businesses that we've worked in. And we really want to share that skill with as many kids as possible. So that event is running in September. We're traveling from Newcastle all the way to London. And again, that's going to be in secondary schools to impact 10,000 lives. We've just partnered with Hayes Recruitment, so one of the biggest recruitment companies in the UK, who've become our platinum sponsor for the project, who are also organising all of our schools as well, which is brilliant. We're about 70% of the way there with Jaguar Land Rover, who are hopefully going to be giving us a car with our brand on and the logo on for the talks and the journey. But we are actually still looking for corporate sponsors as well. So if you are an organisation who is, and obviously I say has an interest in mental health, you're all on this call for that reason, but if you're an organisation that has an interest in supporting mental health for the future generations of the UK, and you feel like this is something that you'd like to get involved in, I'd love to have a conversation about how that partnership model would work. And I don't want you to just think of it as a sponsorship model, and that's the reason we've called it a partnership, because it genuinely is a partnership. We're only working with organisations who have that true passion around supporting youth and mental health, but also in the actual package involved in the sponsorship package, there's things like free mental health talks from myself and Ollie within your business. There is a spot at kind of the talks and the documentary that we're doing for you guys to feature in the documentary. There's marketing brochures, social media posts, interviews with us, professional press shot packages that we're going to be creating, features in the brochure, and inviting to our 100 Talks for Change live event that we're going to be hosting as well after we've done the tour. So there is so much and so many tangible things that you'll also receive from a commercial point of view, although I appreciate the commercial, and I hope that the commercial is second, and the real basis of the partnership will be, again, for us to support as many youth within education as possible. Let me just look at my timer, because again, public speaker talk quite a lot. That's 9 minutes 40. I think I can stop it there. If you have any questions around the 100 Talks for Change, or if you are looking for a speaker or trainer or consultant to work within your business, drop me a message. I'll put my email and my LinkedIn and my Instagram in the chat below. But thank you very much for the 10 minutes as well, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Amazing. Mate, thank you ever so much. Inspiration. I think I've been seeing some of the comments. I haven't seen anyone say that you've got a terrible voice, which is really good to really good to see. But look, I think, you know, for us at Includability, where education setting is one of the things that we care about, is, you know, the children of today are kind of the employees of tomorrow. And if we can kind of start changing that narrative and start getting kind of children to understand that it's okay, but to get the teachers and to get the education sector to take more responsibility to really support, that then society in itself will be in a much better place. And if it wasn't for individuals like Daniel taking the time to kind of really do this and go and inspire up to 10,000 people and beyond that, when it kind of comes to the documentary, so please do reach out to Daniel, have a conversation. Yeah, we're in perfect time. We've got a couple of minutes left. So I think from myself, it's kind of more of a thank you ever so much for everyone coming. A massive thank you to Michael, to Sacha, to Gunraj, to Daniel for talking. The link for next month's event is in the feed already. Please do sign up. Please do share it with your colleagues. The more people that are on these calls in a really nice, safe space with people that just care, the more difference that we can make, the better people that will be. If there's any questions at all, if there's any contacts that you're missing or anyone that's on this call and you don't manage to get it, let me, Dave, James, Chris know, and we'll be more than happy to facilitate introductions. If there's anything within your business across the pillars that we represent, whether that's talent management, well-being, D&I, sustainability, leadership and governance, or mental health, and you want a bit of support, you want some introductions, just let us know. We are very blessed with the community that we have, and I'm pretty sure that there is somebody that we can introduce you to, if not more than a few. So please do go and connect, book in some coffees with each other, and actually get to know each other, because each of these calls gets even better with the more time that everyone knows each other. So look, until the end of June, I guess it's kind of time to bid farewell, but thank you ever so much. You're incredible human beings, and look forward to kind of catching up with you in a month's time. We're here for you, for anything that you might need. But have an amazing rest of the day, everyone.